Scrolling through YouTube, came across this. Top 20 monster movies of all time. I so love creature features.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 20 monster movies of all time.
You're gonna need a bigger
Yes,
boat.
Joyce!
For this list, we'll be ranking the best and most enduring creature features from the world of monstrous cinema. What's your favorite monster movie? Let us know in the comments.
Jaws.
Number 20, Cloverfield. The pre-release hype surrounding 2008's Cloverfield did a lot to garner interest in the film prior to its theatrical release. However, this would have mattered little if the end results hadn't captured the imaginations of monster movie fans.
Oh my God, they hit it! They just hit it right now! You guys, they just hit it! They hit it with... Oh my...
This is why the reputation of Cloverfield has endured up to the present day, with various spin-offs set within this original movie's shared universe. Director Matt Reeves, screenwriter Drew Goddard, and producer J.J. Abrams were able to craft a compelling story of survival set amidst the backdrop of an alien monster invasion of New York.
The only thing I did not like about Cloverfield, and I can say this now, when I first got it, it was when it first came out on Netflix. I was one of the first people to get a copy of the DVD. But it was hard to see. The TV was at the other end of the room. It was a pretty dark movie. But now with a laptop, that's all changed. The only thing I don't like about it now, where'd they come from? Even in War of the Worlds, they were underground. Where did this come from? Did we make this? Was this not aliens? Was this something we created and it just got out of control? And 10 Cloverfield Lane didn't help. Other than that, I love the movie.
Cloverfield may have been shot like a found footage film, but it stands today apart from this gimmick as a solid creature feature. Number 19, The Blob.
Dave, make them listen to me. There is a monster. We saw it again in Dad's store. Dave, it's bigger now.
Speaking of creature features, The Blob is a movie monster that survived a remake and reimaginings over the years, always coming out the other side intact, as...
The one from the 70s and the one from the 80s I didn't like. This one, the original, so much better.
Intact as a shapeless, shifting alien putty monster can be anyway. The original 1958 version of The Blob, Beware the Blob from 72, and the gory remake from 1988 all proved that moviegoers were hungry for some interstellar slime. The original Blob was notable for starring Hollywood icon Steve McQueen playing, a teenager, and the movie theater scene where the titular creature attacks is almost certainly iconic. Meanwhile, the Blob's all-consuming desire to, consume makes it a fearsome foe. Number 18, The Wolfman. One simply cannot discuss the monster movie genre without mentioning the works of one Titanic Studios' influence on the genre, Universal Pictures. Their back catalog is a veritable treasure trove of genre-defining works, and 1941's The Wolfman absolutely stands hairy head and shoulders above the pack.
You wouldn't want to run away with a murderer, would you?
Oh, Larry, you're not. You know you're not.
I killed Baylor. I killed Richardson. If I stay around here much longer, you can't tell who's going to be next.
Larry Talbot is sympathetic as both protagonist and antagonist. We feel bad for his tragic lycanthropic curse, and we want to see him cured even as the wolf within is taking lives throughout the film.
I didn't really see this movie. My mother used to watch it all the time. And when I'd go out to cook dinner, I'd see it. But I do remember this being part of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. And yes, that Larry Talbot comes off as both. Very good acting, very good acting. Just because the movies are old doesn't mean they aren't any good.
Moreover, The Wolfman is evocatively shot, well-paced and atmospheric as hell. It is, said quite simply, an all-time horror classic. Number 17, Let the Right One In. Vampires are among history's all-time greatest monsters, right? And there's also been no shortage of...
I saw this. I don't remember it. But the series was really good. It was just last year. And the bozos canceled it. It was really very, very good.
Of great films based upon their legend. 2008's Let the Right One In arrived at a time where some freshening up was due, however, and it delivered exactly what was needed within the genre.
Du måste bjuda in mig.
Vad händer om jag inte gör det?
Oh, this one I didn't see. I saw the English one with Chloe Grace Moretz, but I don't remember it other than I thought it was a butler taking care of her, but it might have been her father. I'd have to watch it again. But the series was very, very good.
Vad händer om du går in ändå?
Let the Right One In plays not only with vampiric folklore, i.e. the prerequisite invitation to a vampire in order for them to enter one's home, it also takes this title and speaks to the letting in of others into the lives of the lonely and the outcast. The relationship between Ili and Oscar serves as the crux of Let the Right One In, just as much as the monstrous violence that occurs on screen. Number 16, Them.
Them! I love this movie! Them!
Cinema of the 1950s, 60s, and beyond were...
Okay, they can shove spiders. I hate spiders. But Them, I watch at least twice a year. I love it.
chock full of irradiated animals that were just waiting to destroy a city and seriously ruin our day. Tarantulas, dinosaurs, lepuses, or is that lepi? All crowded drive-in movie screens on date night. But 1954's Them is perhaps one of the best remembered.
Get the antennae! Get the antennae!
Now get the other antennae!
The film features giant atomic ants on the rampage, and it does a great job at capturing the collective imaginations of its audience. Them is great fun and probably not designed to be taken very seriously. Instead, this is popcorn B-movie fare, but the best kind.
Yeah, to me, I don't see this as a B movie. I just see it as an old movie. There are scary, intense parts to me. The whole thing of B movie kind of sounds like a joke. But I don't think this was a joke. Do I think something like this can happen? I think it already is happening. Not ants as big as cars. But because of the nuclear testing, the chemicals we have out and whatever, things have grown that shouldn't grow like that. But still, to me, this is a very, very good movie. And if I were to ever go to the movie theaters again, I don't know, I'm hearing about the prices. And I mean, right now there's a riot in Union Square in Manhattan. But this is a movie I would go see in the movie theater. Nice night out, great movie. I love it.
The sort of flick designed to be enjoyed with friends and your favorite snack or junk food. Number 15, A Quiet Place. The horror and monster movie genres have certainly come a long way since the nuclear animal scare films of the 1950s. Today, the genre enjoys perhaps more prestige than ever.
I saw A Quiet Place 1, I saw A Quiet Place 2. And I know these things are alien creatures, and I don't know where they came from or anything like that, but I think the first movie is a whole lot better. The only complaint I have, and they showed you it in the beginning of this, where a kid was snatched off of some kind of little bridge. That kid, okay, spoiler alert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That kid wanted a car he saw in the store, a little toy car, whatever. But he wanted the batteries left in. And in A Quiet Place, these things hunt by sound. If they hear you, you're dead. So the boy's older sister, who's deaf, Didn't see there would be a big deal. You know, the kid knows you can't make noise, you can't this, you can't that. She put the batteries back in, or the kid did it himself. I've only seen the movie once. And on that bridge, the kid turned the car on. And that's when he was taken. But this was a very good, very intense, very scary movie. It was. I mean, think about it. We make noise when we sneeze. We make noise when we walk on the ground. There are times we're not expecting it and we'll burp or fart. That noise, these things can come out of nowhere, find you, kill you. Very good concept of the movie. Very good.
With many high-profile actors and directors playing within the confines of this creative sandbox. John Krasinski is one of these individuals, having helmed A Quiet Place back in 2018. The idea of a post-apocalypse haunted by deadly monsters that hunt by sound is an interesting one, and A Quiet Place achieved much within its final execution. Sure, the monsters probably could have been more imaginatively designed and rendered with practical effects, but the focus here is just as much on the human drama as the action set pieces. Number 14, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Modern criticisms of Golden Age horror films often point to poor pacing as a reason for their disconnect with younger fans.
I like The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I like the way the creature looked, everything. I got a feeling if they remake this, and I could be wrong. I could be 1,000% wrong. I don't think they'll do it justice. It's like they've been talking for years about redoing Jaws. All that CGI stuff. Now, I love The Meg. And I'm going to watch The Meg 2 tonight. But those movies can't compare to Jaws. The practical effects, everything. And I think if they remake Jaws, they're going to screw it up big time. And I think the same thing might happen if they redo Creature from the Black Lagoon and change it too much. But you never know. You never know. It could be good. You never know.
Thankfully, 1954's Creature from the Black Lagoon possesses no such pacing issues. Gillman here is on screen a lot, and the audience doesn't have to wait a long time to see his beautifully fishy face. Sure, the male leads are bland as hell, but the on-screen relationship between the Gillman and Kay is where Lagoon truly shines. The underwater scenes in particular are wonderfully shot and possess an atmosphere all their own. If you've been reluctant to dip your toes in water of old school horror, then let this Black Lagoon be your first trip into the deep end of the pool. Number 13, The Mist.
Oh my God, The Mist, the movie, and The Mist, the series. Both amazing. Amazing. I don't like what happens to the end of the movie, and there is no spoiler. Not giving a spoiler, but this was a very, very good movie.
Something in the mist! Something in the mist! Cook John Lee!
The Mist is another horror film from the 2000s that could benefit from a modern remake with practical effects. That being said, the CGI from this 2007 adaptation of the Stephen King short story vacillates between of the time and pretty freaking good.
I hate spider things!
There are some long shots where the creatures that dwell within the titular mist look gnarly and evocative as hell. Meanwhile, Frank Darabont directs the human pathos of being trapped within a supermarket with the perfect amount of angst and anxiety. Finally, that gut punch of an ending will leave your jaw on the floor until the end of time. Number 12, Predator.
You're one ugly mother...
I really enjoyed The Predator. I think The Predator 2 was better. I love Alien versus Predator. I do not like AVP 2, Requiem. I don't like it. Mainly because there's a scene in a hospital. I'm not going to tell you about the scene. Watch it yourself and see it, but yeah. And the other Predator movies, I have no problems with. The Alien movies, which are from this same collection, 1, 2, 3, and 4 is okay to watch. 4 is okay to watch. The rest of it, what's it called? Prometheus or something? I didn't get it. It could be because the copy I had was Cam, and I just never went back and watched it or whatever, but, you know, Predator was a good movie. It was.
The filmography of Arnold Schwarzenegger is full of stone-cold bangers, but Predator is one that looms large, even over Arnie's enviable and storied career. Perhaps it's because Schwarzenegger is aided by a capable and charismatic supporting cast, including Carl Weathers, Bill Duke, and Jesse the Body Ventura. Or maybe it's the outstanding creature design, one that was adapted from multiple sequels and a prequel in the years following Predator's initial success.
Okay, Prey I've never seen. I want to see it now. You know, it was the other day I saw something and I'm like, oh, I'd like to watch it. I haven't done anything about it, but yeah, I haven't seen this one yet.
Yes, the answer is obviously all of the above, since Predator is basically a perfect action film, featuring one of the most perfectly actualized and menacing monsters in the history of cinema. Number 11, An American Werewolf in London.
This movie, they keep saying it's a comedy. I have never, ever, not once taken this movie as a comedy. Yeah, there were some things that were a little whatever. But to me, this is just a horror movie. And a damn good one it is. The practical effects, just wow. Wow.
There were two outstanding genre-defining werewolf movies produced in 1981. One of them was Joe Dante's The Howling.
The Howling. Oh my God. Oh my God. The transformation of the werewolves. I love it. I love it. Now, I think I've seen The Howling 2. I don't remember it. I did see The Howling 5, The Rebirth. All I remember is a little baby werewolf that was born. But I remember loving the movie. I just don't remember the movie. All the others, I think, are going to be like all the Prom Nights, all the Amityvilles, all of the... You know. But this was another very good movie.
And the other was An American Werewolf in London.
You really scared me, you shithead.
You see, that's funny. But the movie on a whole, to me, it's not a joke. I mean, honest to God, I don't believe people turn into, except that guy who just spent, I think it was $100,000 on plastic surgery to look like Lassie. So I don't think there are actual people who turn into animals and they're hunting on the streets and whatever. I don't believe that. I do believe in lycanthropy. I do believe there are people who believe they're werewolves. But I don't think what we see in the movies is, you know. But this to me is just a horror movie.
You gonna help me up or what?
See, just the raw of that made my insides jump right now. I know you can't see me, but it did. And that's not a funny thing. His friend is gonna get torn the fuck apart. But yeah, I love this movie.
John Landis's screenplay makes it a point to meld together comedy and horror in a way that never does a disservice to either genre. The movie's soundtrack is full of moon puns, while the actual graphic content goes all the way with regards to extremity. The transformation sequence alone was enough to secure an American Werewolf in London a place within the hallowed halls of horror, thanks to the landmark special effects work of Rick Baker. Number 10, Dracula. Count
I have never seen the original Dracula. I have seen one called Dracula with a guy named Rudolph Martin in it, which is supposed to be the story of the true Dracula, Vlad Dracul, excuse me. But I've never seen the original 1931. I did see the one from the 90s, Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think I even saw the Fearless Vampire Killers. I did see the one with Frank Langella. I enjoy that a lot. And I also saw a movie called Love at First Bite with George Hamilton and Susan St. James. And I've seen other vampire movies like Subspecies. Take away the nudity, that's a really good series. Radu. But yeah, this I've never seen, but it was really the one that started it all. You can't even say Nosferatu started it all. I think it was this that really started it.
Now, Dracula is another character that's been portrayed by many different actors in many different ways. Some, like Sir Christopher Lee and Frank Langella, emphasize the Count's romantic stateliness, while Max Schreck's Count Orlok was an animalistic and feral take on the Dracula mythos. All of these performances can be gathered together under the banner of Bela Lugosi's 1931 effort for Universal.
For one who has not lived even a single lifetime, you are a wise man.
And this was bad because a documentary I saw about him, Bela Lugosi, nobody took him seriously as an actor. They only took him as Dracula. And he really loved acting. He had this love for it. You know, like there used to be, what was it? I think they talked about Daniel Day-Lewis and Tom Hanks, and there were a few others who actually almost made themselves sick for their art to be the person they were portraying. You can't have that anymore. You can't. You can't have someone like, there was a movie from the 80s called Mask with Cher, Sam Elliott, and Eric Stoltz. You could not get a regular actor to play Eric Stoltz's character Rocky Dennis right now. They would want someone who has the actual condition to play it. And if not, they consider it like making fun of the person. But yeah, Bela Lugosi was one of those actors. He really got into his parts. There was so many things he wanted to do and couldn't do because he was, I guess, stereotyped as Dracula. The same thing happened to Fred Gwynne from the Munsters, Herman Munster. He couldn't really get the movies he wanted because all anyone saw when they looked at him was Herman Munster. And that is a shame. I'm sure a lot of people looked at Cher and said, oh, she's just some ditzy rock singer. She can't do nothing. She got the Academy Award for Moonstruck because they screwed up and didn't give it to her for Mask. She was also in a movie called Suspect. Very good movie. You just never know. I just think they should have given him a chance. Bela Lugosi could have gone on to really have been a great, diverse actor. And he wasn't given the chance.
Van Helsing.
This was a performance that, for many, codified the character for all time, from the walk to the talk. Throughout it all, Dracula the film and Dracula the character remain monsters. Regal, seductive monsters, perhaps, but always a creature of the night.
Children of the night, what music they make.
Number 9. The Host. The resume of director Bong Joon-ho is one that carefully mixes monster kid fandom with social satire and black comedy. And
I do remember The Host, and I do remember I enjoyed it. Most of the movie I don't remember, though.
Almost always works. Snowpiercer, Parasite, and Memories of Murder are just some of Bong at his very best. But
I've heard of Parasite. It's been recommended by a number of people. I never saw it. I never saw Snowpiercer. And I forget the name of this one, but I never saw this either.
But it's 2006's The Host that perhaps best showcases the man's genre pedigree.
어른들 말씀에 사람의 진정성은 반드시 사지를 절단해서 끝장을 보는 게 그게 사람들의 도리라고 그랬는데.
This is a film that pays just as much attention to the human drama and social commentary as it does the rampaging monster. And sure, the CGI for The Host hasn't aged great and would have been better served with practical monster effects, but the film as a whole hits all the right notes for something fresh and engaging for genre fans.
Yeah, but you gotta figure, any movie with CGI monsters or whatever, people are acting with nothing because they're not seeing the monster. Where the director thinks the people should look, there might be something there for the actors to focus on, but there's nothing there to bounce off of. It's like all these anime show and cartoons and whatever. They're just reading a script and doing the best they can. They're not feeding off of other people. It's a very wonderful thing they do, and they do it just on their own. It's great. Too bad Hollywood and the music industry is such a cesspool. But yeah, acting is an amazing thing if you can actually do it.
Number 8. Frankenstein.
Again, I've never seen this Frankenstein. I saw the Frankenstein with Daniel Radcliffe. I saw Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and I've seen other little movies. But these are on my watch list. This winter, I'm going to watch these 3 original movies. Wait a minute, 4. The Mummy I'm going to watch too, the original Mummy. Creature from the Black Lagoon, I've seen a lot. But yeah, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the Mummy, I haven't really seen. But I am going to watch them this winter.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! Oh, in the name of God! Now I know what it feels like to be God!
Okay, that I don't like. Because if that's the case, then women know what it's like to be God, because we give life. No, we're not God. We're nowhere near God.
Hey, what's better? The humor of Young Frankenstein,
I did see Young Frankenstein, and I enjoyed it.
or the more serious tone of Bride of Frankenstein and the OG? Well, why not both? Universal's adaptation of the Mary
Bride.
Shelley novel not only went on to become one of the most iconic horror movies, full stop, but it also created an all-time image with the look of the monster. All of the flowers belonged to Boris Karloff for all the physicality he brought to the role, while the makeup and look of the monster endures in all forms of media to this day. Meanwhile, Frankenstein the film is another Universal effort that's perfectly paced, another example of why they call them classics for a reason. Number 7, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park! Oh my God! The last 3 movies, the Jurassic Worlds, I enjoyed. Not as much as the first 3. Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3. These were great. I think we were all mesmerized by what the dinosaurs looked like and how they acted and how they sounded in this movie and whatever. Because if they were just nothing, I don't think it would be as great as it is now. Even the special effects, like Steven Spielberg, that water glass, there's a scene involving the T-Rex that he wanted this perfect effect. He knew what he wanted, but he didn't know how to get it done. Where, because of the stomping of the T-Rex, a water glass in one of the vehicles started to do like an inward ripple. No one was touching the glass. How they got that done? They said it was with a guitar string, that when they strummed it, it gave the perfect effect for that. Very cool.
There's a reason why the Jurassic Park franchise has endured through multiple sequels and a world reboot refresh. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs is the answer, of course, since these prehistoric beasts have fascinated us since we're all children. Yet the OG Jurassic Park also never forgets to emphasize that these are monsters. They may be captivating monsters, yes, but the dinosaurs here in 1993 were presented as equally magical and dangerous.
Exactly. I was just talking to someone on the phone today, because I saw something on Facebook about there was these swimmers. I don't know, might have been like 10 of them. And there's a hammerhead shark right next to them. Now, you would think a hammerhead shark, because of the shape of the head, could not hurt a human, could not eat them. Yeah, it can. And there was one dopey white bitch, blonde hair, ponytail, and she's standing there with her fucking phone. She was really close to the shark. I mean, close. Really, really close. And she's just there with her camera, and I'm like, that dopey bitch deserves to get eaten. It's like all the people who have, people are like, oh, feel bad, they got mauled by a bear. What were they doing a couple of seconds before that? There's even a picture of one doofus who picked up a cub by the scruff of the neck. You don't think a mama bear is going to kill you for that? People know better to do that, but they want the clicks and the views. Just get the hell out of there.
Boy, do I hate being right all the time.
Speaking of magic, the combination of practical dinosaur effects and expertly achieved CGI is something that works so well, far better than its timestamp, that's for sure. It was the original and the best. Number 6, The Fly. Director David Cronenberg has asked one consistent question throughout his hallowed film career. What could be more monstrous than the human body? This narrative thread of body horror connects much of the man's work. But
I saw the original Fly, and I saw this Fly. I saw the original Fly, I want to say when I was 7 or 8 years old. I was in the 2nd grade. And it did scare me. This I saw in the 80s. Now, you got to figure, in the 80s, I really don't remember there being cable TV. We didn't get cable. Very, very, very late 90s or in the 2000s. And I'm saying that to say, when you used to watch, like, here in New York, Channel 11, Channel 5, Channel 2, Channel 4, whatever, they always cut stuff out. They cut too much of the violence out and the scary stuff out. And they also had to cut it down to make room for more and more of the commercials, the ads. So we would lose at least half of the movie with that. But when I saw this fully, it did its job.
But perhaps nowhere was it best actualized than with his 1986 remake of The Fly.
I'm an insect who dreamt he was a man and loved it. But now the dream is over, and the insect is awake.
Themes of disease and the fear of aging all tie into the tragic results of an experiment gone horribly wrong. Seth Brundle, in an attempt to transport matter, accidentally melds his DNA with that of a common housefly. The end results of this accident are messy, goopy, and horribly disgusting. The practical makeup effects here are off the charts, and the Brundle Fly hybrid is so disgusting that The Fly was made infamous and legendary almost overnight. Number 5, The Thing.
I love The Thing. I've seen parts of the original, and that's another movie I'm going to watch this winter. But this thing with Kurt Russell, the only thing I didn't like about this movie was when, and this is a spoiler, so I'm doing my counting again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we first see the alien in this movie, it's a husky dog running around. People in a helicopter are trying to kill it because they know it's not really a dog. So these guys here, Kurt Russell and his team, take the dog in and put it in with their other dogs. The alien killed all the dogs, and there were times you could hear the dogs yelping and screaming, and so that I didn't like. That's the spoiler. Everything else I really enjoyed with this movie. I really did.
Know what the hell's in there? It's weird and pissed off, whatever it is.
John Carpenter's 1982 horror Game Changer was originally saddled with the tagline, "Man is the warmest place to hide." We actually really liked this one more than what was later used on the film's poster, The Ultimate in Alien Terror, because it better describes the horror and paranoia of alien assimilation.
We're gonna draw a little bit of everybody's blood. We're gonna find out who's the thing.
Carpenter's remake of The Thing from Another World featured groundbreaking special effects that still look great today. A haunting, minimalist score from Ennio Morricone and a frozen atmosphere unlike any other. The relentless tension that ramps up as each of the crews stationed at this Antarctic outpost gets taken one by one is harrowing. Then the final and mysterious finale leaves us with more questions than answers. It's brilliant. Number 4, Alien.
I enjoyed Alien, the original. Starts everything off. But I much prefer number 2, which I think is the greatest. And I really enjoyed number 3. I know a lot of people don't like number 3. I did. But this was still a good movie. It really was. And yes, there are a lot of jump scares in this movie.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial may have served as a fictional ambassador for every potential
E.T. I love this movie. I don't know why I haven't watched it again. I need to do that.
alien invasion out there in '82, but aliens have often historically been represented as anything but cute and cuddly. James Cameron's Aliens from '86 was the bug hunt to end all bug hunts, while the OG Alien from '79 stresses that in space, no one can hear you scream. This is pure interstellar terror from director Ridley Scott, a horror film set in space with a relentless atmosphere and a cast full of interesting characters. Sigourney Weaver's Ellen Ripley in particular set the bar high for a new breed of female lead that's tough. And
oh yeah, Sigourney Weaver, amazing in these movies. Even number 4, Resurrection, which is okay. I'll watch it. It's not any of my favorites. I prefer number 1 to number 4. But when Sigourney Weaver acts, and I've seen her in a couple of things, she has this presence. You know you have to watch her. It's hard to explain, but she is very good. I've seen her in Heartbreakers, Dave, Crazy on the Outside. I think the movie was called Cabin in the Woods. She was great in that, even though I would call that like a bit part. She was in, I don't know if it was a series or a mini series, but called Political Animals. Sigourney Weaver is just so fucking amazing. Amazing. I can't say too much other than amazing. Her acting grips you, and that's it. She is such a joy to watch. She really is.
More than capable of taking on any alien threat.
Ash, are you kidding? This thing bled acid. Who knows what it's going to do when it's dead?
Number 3, Jaws.
Jaws. Did I ever say to anyone on any videos or anywhere, I love Jaws? Yeah, well, I love Jaws.
Some of the scariest moments in the world don't come from the world of fiction, but can live in our own backyards. After all, if the success of Shark Week has taught us anything, it's that these two aquatic wonders can seriously obsess our creative minds. For some, the great white shark and...
I've seen so many reactions from movie reactors on YouTube about Jaws. This movie definitely stands the test of time. People still get scared. They love the film. They love the dialogue between everyone. They love Quint's thing about the USS Indianapolis. And I'm a big one for saying I don't like creature features where you don't really see the creature. You don't really see Jaws, but the movie is so gripping and intense, I never noticed. Such an amazing movie. Stands the test of time. All the actors were 100% perfect in their roles. Just great. An amazing movie.
Jaws is a thrill. For others, it's a swimming nightmare.
Sometimes that shark, he looks right into you. Right into your eyes. You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes. Black eyes, like a doll's eye.
The image of its cold, dead eyes is haunting, and the reveal of the mechanical shark, nicknamed Bruce by the crew, is timed perfectly by director Steven Spielberg.
I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chump some of this shit.
Additionally, the character work of Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, and Roy Scheider elevate Jaws far beyond the trappings of genre cinema into the prized realms of an all-time classic.
Fire, you son of a...
Number 2, King Kong.
King Kong! I think I've seen every King Kong movie that's out there. I watch this one every Thanksgiving because here in New York, it used to be on Thanksgiving, and even on Christmas it was for a while there. This movie, Mighty Joe Young, and other movies like this would play on Thanksgiving Day. It was tradition. So I keep with that tradition. I line up all the movies and I watch them all Thanksgiving Day long after the parade. Which is another thing we always did, but I always fell asleep on it. But still, I've got to have that on in the background, and then I got to watch these movies after that. It's a ritual I'm not willing to break. This was a great movie, and you want to talk about practical effects? This movie is from 1933. And yeah, there is some animation in it. I think it might be that stop motion stuff. But you gotta figure, man, we're in 2023 right now. This was 1933. For what they had to work with back then, they did a damn good job.
The character of King Kong is another that's had so many great appearances.
76, 76, 76, 76.
over the course of film history. Its 1976 iteration was massive, while director Peter Jackson had a CGI go of it back in 2005. However,
Yeah, I really did like. Is it called Peter Jackson? They just said it. But that one from 2005. Here's another spoiler alert. It's minor though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's an ice skating scene where he takes Ann Darrow to Prospect Park and he's sliding all over this lake that's turned to ice. It's frozen solid. And it was really amazing. I really enjoyed that. A lot of people have said, well, that's a stupid thing. Why'd they put it in there? I enjoyed it. It helped to really show the bond they shared. I loved it. I haven't seen a bad King Kong movie, even Godzilla, if we're honest, except for the Godzilla, the one that came out in 2014. That pissed me off. It didn't hold my interest, nothing. I wanted to see more of Godzilla. I didn't get to see it. But I haven't seen not one bad King Kong movie. I love them. I even love King Kong Lives. I love King Kong Escapes. I love King Kong versus Godzilla. Although I haven't seen... It's either King Kong versus Frankenstein or Godzilla versus Frankenstein. I haven't had the urge to see those. But I've loved every single King Kong movie. I love these things.
However, you just can't beat the 1933 original.
This is bad. See, I was thinking, if my son and his girlfriend ever get married and they bring the kids over, I would show them this movie. But that just... that whole thing would just happen now. I won't even ask them, can I show my grandkids this? No, but still, it's a very, very good movie. Very good movie.
Special effects of the time weren't just groundbreaking, but unequivocally definitive. The impact of King Kong was so huge that it effectively guided and inspired the
Mighty Joe Young! I do like the new Mighty Joe Young with Charlize Theron. I do. I love it. I really do. It doesn't come close to this one. I adore this one. This is another one I watch every Thanksgiving.
The careers of future industry titans like Ray Harryhausen. Speaking of titans, the legacy of Kong still lives on today within the modern monsterverse, proving that this old monkey just may outlive us all.
And remember, in Skull Island, this Kong was said to be a baby. So how much bigger is he going to get?
Before we name our number one pick, here are some honorable mentions. The Mummy, Imhotep, Rise.
It was not only this body that I loved, it was thy soul. I destroy this lifeless thing. Thou shalt take its place but for a few moments, and then rise again even as I have risen.
Gremlins, the tiny terrors that could.
This is another movie I have on my watch list. I've tried to watch it several times, but I've always fallen asleep on it. And with me, that doesn't mean a movie's boring. I mean, I was watching another film reactor. His name is Rob W. Go check him out. He was reacting to The Fourth Kind. I really liked that movie. Less than 5 minutes into the reaction, I conked out. And I was sleeping on and off, mostly on, until about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So just because I fall asleep on a movie doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It just usually means I'm worn out. But yeah, this is another one on my watch list. And with the writer's strike and the rest of Hollywood striking with them, I have the perfect opportunity to watch all these movies and not have to worry about missing new ones because this strike isn't going to end anytime soon. Nobody wants to give people their fair share. Now, I don't think, like, there are gophers on the set. Go get me water, go get me... No. I don't think they should be part of this, but everybody else, the lighting people, if it wasn't for them, how would you have a movie? And yeah, the writers, the producers, the directors, all this shit. We're in new territory with streaming. And instead of even trying to make an effort, the bigwigs just decided, oh no, we're in the money more than before, and we're going to keep it all to ourselves. Well, you see where that gets you. But it's a good opportunity to watch these movies and not miss out on any new ones that might come out.
Tremors, Burrowing Death.
Tremors! I like Tremors. I like Tremors 2. I've seen all the others. Tremors 3, I like the way the creatures evolved again. The rest I haven't watched. Really, I did watch a new one called A Cold Day in Hell. You could tell it was cheesy sci-fi. And I haven't watched the series yet. There was a television series of Tremors. But I really did enjoy this movie very much.
Death from Deep Below.
Must be a million of them. Nope, just one.
The Descent, Evil Lurking in the Dark.
The Descent. This is such a great movie. Now, here's another spoiler alert. I'm not going to count. You can just fast forward right now. It's only going to take me a couple of seconds to say this. Even if there weren't the creatures that are down there that kill and eat most of these women, okay, the darkness alone and the not really having light to see where you're stepping or where you're going, that alone is scary enough. But you add on the other stuff. And I did see The Descent 2. That's another movie I have to watch again because I don't remember too much of it. And then I saw there was a Descent 3. I haven't even tried to touch that one. I don't know anything about it.
Little Shop.
And I knew that was coming and it scared me anyway. Okay, Little Shop of Horrors is another one I gotta try to see. That. And I've been getting told I should watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show too. But again, this winter's coming up.
Shop of Horrors, the day Audrey 2 took over our world.
Does it have to be human? Does it have to be mine? Where am I supposed to get it?
Feed me Seymour. Feed me all night long.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Godzilla.
Oh, this Godzilla was good. It was good. My favorite out of the what I consider regular Godzillas is 1985. It was supposed to be like a direct sequel from this one, and Raymond Burr's in that one too. But I've enjoyed a ton of them. The smog monster, not too much. There's always been something about the smog monster I didn't like, but I will watch the movie. Godzilla vs. Biollante, Son of Godzilla, all the new ones, the Gamera movies. Oh, they didn't put Gamera in this, but you know, these cheesy movies are really fun and good. And some of them are really good. Not cheesy, but really good. And you figure it's 1954, so. And these are just the top 20. There's a whole lot more that could have gone in here.
What can we say about the king of the monsters that hasn't already been said? The aforementioned Ray Harryhausen actually had a major influence on what would become Godzilla, with his creature design for 1953's The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Yeah.
However, Godzilla has clearly taken on a life of his own in the 60-plus years since his debut, including an American reboot in 2014. The original Godzilla is an allegory for the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II, however, and it is played completely straight. There's no monster mashes or flying drop kicks to be had here, but instead a haunting and serious allegory for the horrors of war. Did you enjoy this video?
Yes, I did. Very much so. Ooh, 20 powerful horror movie monsters. I might do a reaction to that one too. I love Watch Mojo. Blah, 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 blah. I love Watch Mojo. Go sign up for them. They're great.